would enjoy watching Hannibal full. I bet he had some cute little quips there too.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Franco. Hey.
Yeah. Hey, why are you booing me? All right. Welcome to another episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches, where we cover 5 of the most interesting data breaches from this last week and one of our favorite bourbons. Steve.
Michael.
Davia.
Keegan.
Shu.
We have Shu here.
Guest star.
Yeah, in person. I am
In
not
the flesh.
It's very strange.
I'm Miguel, by the way.
Frank.
And we have a special spectacular data breaches for Halloween. And with that, I'm going to take off the mask because that was enough.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's hurting my nose bridge.
And face. Well, what do we have this week, Devia?
Okay, guys. So the first story is actually from Argentina, and recently a hacker stole government ID database for Argentina's entire population. And the hacker has breached the Argentinian government's IT network and stolen ID card details for the entire population, and now it's being sold in private circles. So what do you guys have to say about this?
My favorite thing about this breach is so often the breach headline is like 100 million identities or 200 million identities. This breach headline is all of them. We got them. Everybody, I don't know, find out how many there are. That's what we got.
Yeah, do you think the reporter just didn't know how many Argentines
I'm pretty sure.
exist?
And going for entire population is either lazy or a stroke of genius, but like we got 'em.
If you're an Argentine and you're hearing this, congratulations, you were breached.
And of course, the first Argentine people think of is.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much to cover here. I don't even know where to start. I mean,
Wait, the first Argentine anybody would think of.
probably the Pope or Diego
Lionel?
Maradona.
The dancing lady?
Messy.
Lionel Messi.
Yeah, take that.
Of course, of course.
Also,
Of course, Messi. Of course.
Also for the Pope.
Also, the Pope, you know.
But we all
Yeah.
have that address.
Yeah, I would think that the Pope is widely known, but what do I know? I mean,
Right. He's only the Pope.
We all have his address and password. We know where he lives. But also the data for Lionel Messi was stolen.
yeah, that was the real harm there.
That's a national blow. And I have to assume Manu Ginobili, but I don't know if
I'm pretty sure Manu Info got leaked as well. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Did you guys have you guys bought your data back yet?
No,
We
I mean,
have our data.
I'm okay with my data. I mean, it's worthless, so I don't really care about that. So I'm okay also with the concept that privacy, it's something that got lost a long time ago. So I'm assuming that everybody knows everything about me, or pretty much everything. So that's an idea that I have to live with, and this confirms that.
The answer, I think, would be we just don't care. We're all so screwed up that we just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this is the list of our concerns. I mean, somebody stole our data. I mean, come on, they're worse.
I have a
My
question though. So they stole government IDs. What do you use those for?
The ID, we used to do a lot of things like applying for a driver's license, for example, or to get bills. I mean, to get services such as an ISP, or I don't know, water or electricity. We use those for that, which doesn't matter as long as you pay them. And we don't use that one to travel abroad. We use the passport number, which up until not that long ago, it was the same number as the ID.
But let's be real, it probably got stolen too, right?
Yeah.
Of course, yes. Yes, but I mean, I would say that I would be concerned if I were a Swiss guy and my information got leaked, but being Argentina, I mean, who the hell is going to want that information? Just get a new one.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
maybe they give it away as a gift.
Yeah, that's a good question. Frank, can you get a new one now that it's stolen?
Who knows?
You know,
Oh, yeah, you're
it's
supposed to know,
your
Frank.
data.
You should.
I haven't tried. I went to one of those REnaper stands about 2 months ago to do my passport procedure. And well, I have to admit it, after all the mean things our government have done to us, trusting my personal data to them is my absolute fault. This is my fault. It's nobody else's.
Yes.
I mean, I should have known.
What's the alternative if you want to travel abroad? I mean, you need a passport.
Yeah, the point here is, no matter how cautious we think we might be about this, there will always be little blind spots. In this case, the size of a country.
Number 2.
Okay, guys, so story number 2, this is regarding REvil, and this is kind of crazy because they closed their shop in July, but REvil ransomware operators claim group is ending activity again. Victim League blog now offline. So what do you guys have to say about this?
Bullshit.
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 It was a multi-nation effort that took them offline. Whatever.
We have a saying in Texas. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me, don't get fooled again. The FBI took down the REvil website, but they didn't take down any of REvil. They'll be back. $3 billion from ransomware. They'll be back.
Oh no, they took down the website. Whatever shall they do?
That's crippling right there. I mean,
What?
the website is down.
What do you think, Miguel? You've had your run-ins with REvil.
Well, for one thing, I think that the world is going to be a better place because we all get to enjoy those things that they write that they are very interesting most of the time. So that's going to be fun. And this is my personal opinion. Usually good entertainment, you have to pay for it. I mean, if you want good entertainment,
free for some, very expensive for others.
us, yeah, it's free for us, but for some people it's really very expensive. So, well, if they are giving entertainment to the world, I mean, I guess we can look the other side when it comes to some people being hacked.
There's only one government that has the power to interfere with them. They're not going to. So you could tell me it was a multi-government caucus. I don't buy that.
Frank, give me 7 words on REvil.
Wow. Let me have a drink first.
I'm counting.
He needs his fuel.
What? It's
Let
like
me,
words, 7 words. It's not 7 syllables.
let me get there. I don't know. I think there's no honor. First of all, I don't know how much of this is staged or not, but there's no honor between crooks. You know, a lot of criminal gangs end up imploding out of corruption or betrayal or whatever, rather than getting caught up by the good guys. So I'm guessing maybe a good way to tackle these gangs is by trying to attract or make way through the weak links, exactly that, like they do in coding language. Well, yeah, that's it.
That's more than 7 words.
As a way of not depending on focusing all efforts on prevention or defensive tactics, strategies, which are, of course, for sure, the most relevant.
Yeah. Well said. Bourbon break.
Love those.
So we are doing
We even drank that.
1835. So we've got, it is Texas LoneStar 1835 bourbon, limited release single barrel. If you're watching at home, we are having barrel 255. No, bottle 255, barrel 1381. So single barrel from Texas LoneStar, obviously from Texas. And this was recommended by our local specs distributor. Debbie, what do you have to say about 1835?
So I wasn't able to find a lot of information on this, but it is 100% proof and it has a tag of boutique bourbon. And that's the only information I have for this.
That was the adjective I was looking for when we were trying a bourbon. We've tried a lot of
boutique.
We tried a lot of bourbons, but I was like, is this a boutique bourbon? And they said no, and I wasn't interested.
So this was recommended by Specs, who has questionable recommendations. I don't always trust their recommendations. This was distilled in Kentucky by someone.
Willet, by the Willet Distillery, which is legit.
Are you sure it's from Willet?
It says Willet right there.
Where? I don't see Willet.
Somewhere. In another bottle, it did say it was distilled by Willet, which I had a bad experience with Willet once. But generally, overall, Willet is a very, very good distiller.
This is bottled in Louisville, Texas. Not to be
Louisville.
confused by Louisville, Kentucky, where this is probably from.
There may or may not be a Louisville, Texas.
There's a Louisville,
Right.
Texas.
But we all have like any other, like fill in the blank city.
Is there an
Texas.
E at the end of the S?
1835, single barrel bourbon whiskey. You have some,
I have some.
I have some on ice.
Ferdinand, have some neat, as always.
You are a neat guy.
I like to think so. Thank you.
I'm gonna have a little straight as well. It's really good on ice. It's wonderful on ice, but I can't get a good aroma from
From the ice.
the ice.
Maybe.
It has a sharp alcohol on the
Yes.
nose.
It does.
The alcohol is pretty sharp. It's almost like if I was cleaning something.
It is a burn. I've had more pleasant burn. I've had worse burns, but it is burn. I wouldn't say it's a terrible burn.
I think what counters the burn is it has a nice sweet and then medium body mouthfeel. So you're countering the burn with a little bit more substance.
I would agree. It's a very classic bourbon taste, caramel. I would agree with medium body.
Not much corn on it.
Yeah, it's
Do you get much corn on it?
no corn.
No, and having said all that, really, I think that the defining characteristic for me is the burn. It is I find it a burny bourbon. The flavor that is there is good. However, yeah, while I don't dislike it, this is probably not my favorite bourbon.
You know, I will have to say, it's much better on ice, and I think I'm going to stop taking recommendations from Specs because this is the
Wow.
second time Specs has recommended a bottle that's turned out to be less than expected.
Wow.
This
dude,
episode
yes.
not brought to you by Specs.
So
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Total Wine, TotalWine.com. Get better recommendations at TotalWine.com and cheaper prices.
So devil's advocate, it is 100 proof. There's going to be
No,
some
it's-
burn.
It's definitely 100%.
Yeah, it is 100 proof. I've had way worse than proof. And as we all know, what happened, oh man, Total Wine was the one that recommended Bib and Tucker to me that time.
yeah,
but anyways-
that's Bib and Tucker's bullshit.
Right, that was a mess, but almost as much of a mess was last week when I grabbed that bourbon off Total Wine.
Say the name
Red
again.
blooded.
That's
Was
what
that a
it
Total
was.
Wine bourbon?
Yeah, it was Total Wine.
Here's what I gotta say.
So,
Don't trust Total Wine or
Yeah.
Specs. Trust Bourbon and Breaches. We will tell you what not to drink. But
White
I
wine.
feel like a $28 bottle of Evan Williams
Yeah.
single barrel gives this a run for its money.
I'm not even drinking whiskey anymore, and that shit is good.
Yeah,
It really is.
we have it downstairs.
drink more.
What matters is not to stop. Rephrasing Keegan.
I agree.
Others is we're
Here's to
drinking.
that.
I agree.
Others to drinking. All right, story number 3.
Okay, guys, story number 3. This is about a TV network and Sinclair TV stations disrupted across the US after ransomware attack. And they described it as technical issues in the beginning, but it was actually a ransomware attack. And what do you guys have to say about this one?
There's abomination of local TV channels that are all owned and operated by a singular entity
Without being upfront about that fact.
that
Right.
force-fed some bullshit stories nationwide based on fake facts and fake news. Weren't they also doing news for pay? They were doing like, hey, if you pay us money, we'll present your company as if it's newsworthy.
That's right. So they went to Seattle, they went to Kansas, they went to Maine, they went to Massachusetts, they went to Florida, and they presented you your local news, but really it was whatever the syndicate had been paid to say, but echo chambered across many, many, many different local news stations.
And a lot of their vulnerability, reading about what happened, was because they have a lot of separate satellite offices across the country, and any company would have a hard time to coordinate that. I know, say like if you're a parent company of like, for an example, a veterinary clinic company of a bunch of vet clinics across the country, it's hard to coordinate that, and I can see how you may be a victim and be an easy target.
Hey, here's what I would say. Sinclair has a dubious reputation, and I am not surprised that hacktivists would go after them after some of the reports that have come out about them. I, of course, hope they fully recover from this, because no one deserves to be, infected with ransomware.
All right.
This technical difficulty led them to like show something else, and it's Hannibal Perez and Chris Paul in a bowling
Wait,
game.
is he the comedian?
Yes.
Hannibal Perez?
Yes.
Oh, I would watch that.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Against
Hey, like,
future NBA
maybe it
champion
was-
Chris Paul.
for the record, I'm anti-ransomware,
But I'm pro.
but I would enjoy watching Hannibal Bull. I bet he had some cute little quips there
I'm sure he
too.
did.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
Franco. Hey,
Yeah, hey, where are you booing me? All
Hey.
right.
Franco.
It's interesting the harm of an attack like this can make to a company. Even if they have an effective recovery system, backups, or whatever it is, on a TV station where every second counts as profit, and selling and, struggling with contracts into that damn grid, and, a single disruption like this might be a nightmare to deal with later on.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's hard enough to coordinate security within one centralized company. It must be a nightmare to coordinate security with one central company and a satellite.
You have to assume that they have a distributed infrastructure
Right,
too. So
exactly, yeah.
they must have.
Story number 4, this is really cool, and I think it's one of my favorite stories so far. So a ransomware gang masquerades as a real company to recruit tech talent. And the best part is they call themselves the Bastion Secure website, which uses the logo BS. So what do you guys have to say about this story?
All right, Mike and I have met a lot of security companies, and that's a way better name than half of the bit glass
100%.
site, Vision,
.io.
Shield
Spy, Shield, Info, Privacy guards that are out
Cloud,
there.
yeah, like,
Well, I gotta say, the level of honesty on a allegedly existing company called BS, it's uncanny. I gotta applaud them for that. Because I don't know if I would want to work at a company called BS, but definitely would want to have an interview there.
It reminds me of Pablo Escobar trying to run for president. You guys remember? I think it was like pretending he was so polite and decent, when we all know what he was all about, right?
Allegedly.
Anyway, yeah.
I wonder how much awareness do people have about the growth of ransomware gangs, that they can literally stand unseen, even faking a cybersecurity company, like they are one of the hip. Wait, we're not one of them, are we? Please tell me now.
Frankly,
That's how we get the
are a
funding.
legitimate company that
Just
does
please tell me now.
things abiding by laws.
Okay, so Divya, what do you have for us for story number 5?
Shoes, so since you asked, for
Shoot.
It was not so hard. It was not very hard at all.
For story number
Shoot.
5, headline reads, sticky business, ransomware hits US candy maker ahead of Halloween, where the maker of candy corn,
Oh.
Tarts, Nerds, Red Hots were impacted by ransomware, but they say that they are still able to run production in some facilities.
Thank God. Thank Jesus.
What is Halloween without candy corn?
I love candy corn.
Exactly. So we have
Candy corn is now full of microchips and ransomware. Do not eat it.
candy corn is America.
If you
These
got your-
hackers are attacking America.
If you got your-
Sweethearts are full of microchips and 5G. Do not eat
And
them.
I want to know is what is the government doing about attacks on critical infrastructure? Because I have it as gas, oil, power, candy corn.
Candy corn.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story, they
They attacked America.
They did infiltrate critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
Candy corn. Fuck.
Possibly. Or they did infiltrate IoT devices and infrastructure for manufacturing, which is equally as scary because what if they put too much candy in the candy corn and then it's just all corn?
Holy shit.
If they upset the balance between corn and sugar,
Yeah.
There can never be too much.
that's literally attacking America. That's
So-
literally the worst thing people can do.
The question is, why were candy corn machines online? Because they shouldn't be. Candy corn machines should be stuck in the 70s where you have to press big buttons. to
Get
make
some
it-
to like pour sugar in.
No, that's,
candy corn.
but to Steve's point, that's not how they want to do it. They want to have the bucket, have a little device attached to it that says exactly how many grams of candy corn are in the
Yes.
bucket. And then send a Bluetooth signal to another
Yes.
device that somebody needs to do something else somewhere else. And this is what you get.
Yeah.
Not their fault. Steve.
Manufacturing devices connected to the internet is a bad idea.
I find it interesting.
Has
Of
been
course.
an episode of Bourbon and Data Breaches.
Democracy, firearms,
If you liked what you saw today, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you hated what you saw today,
we don't blame you.
then please like, comment, and subscribe. Until
Just
next
call
time.
me and I'll give you 2 words.